Hello and welcome to Eco Lunchbox, where we put the eco in eco-friendly. Today at this panel, we are going to discuss environmental safety and how to protect this beautiful planet we call our home. Now I know the environmental talk has been beaten like a dead horse, but trust me, this panel is different. Now the environmental problem is not only in the US, it's been in multiple countries around the world for many decades. And unfortunately, the fight against this problem is slow moving. But I don't want to blame people for this. In fact, I would probably blame society if not. As a society, we are taught not to think about certain things. And one of those things tend to be the little ones. Can I ask you a question? Do you think picnics can cause a natural disaster? Yes, that was a bit of a dramatic turn, but stay with me now. Some of the biggest impacts in the world have been created by the smallest changes. You ever heard of the butterfly effect? Now, as Neil Goodman would say, the things that really change the world, according to chaos theory, are the tiny things. Let's think about it like this. It's a beautiful summer day. Your family, your friends come out and say, let's go to the park and have a picnic. You bring your food and your goodies, your juices, maybe even a frisbee, a couple playing cards if you want to feel a little adventurous. You had your day in the sun and your lasting memories, but it's time to go home. But wait, just 1 second. Before you leave, look behind you. Now I have a point. I'm going to describe what is most likely the case that you see. A few plastic and aluminum wrappers on the ground, maybe a bottle or a can from a juice, maybe a couple playing cards that have been crumbled up that you just left there, maybe a disturbed ant pile or broken branches and leaves from you tripping or falling. Now look one more time. Do you see a trash can? Unfortunately, a lot of parks and recreation centers don't have a lot of trash cans. Throughout the day, dozens, if not hundreds of people who had the same idea as you leave their trash for other people to pick up. But we don't have the room to put them there. People might chalk it up as the park rangers will get it, the cleaning crew will get it. But unfortunately, a lot of places where these garbage is left is in underfunded communities. Now, I know if you live in Fayetteville, we've been trying to clean up the Merc for a long time. No matter how many volunteer crews or workers go down there, it's still dirty. And people are constantly throwing away trash on the ground. Each year, national park visitors generate 100 million pounds of garbage. When I tell you that is over 4 million kilograms of garbage, enough to feel part of the Grand Canyon. This statistic does not even include state parks, residential, private, or beaches. This litter is left behind and can be incredibly dangerous to wildlife. Plastic, fishing lines, hooks, aluminum cans, cigarette butts are the worst offenders, and wildlife can get tangled in the debris and just litter and choke, become ill, and can get intestinal blockage. And I got this info from Linda Rosado from Dog Eye Pot article. And yes, it takes time to clean this mess up, and it can take months, if not years, to do so. You must remember, Mother Nature works slowly, and we can only provide so much help. Now, I know I might be getting a little negative, but it is true. Everything starts and ends with Mother Nature, and the process of decomposing waste material is long and strenuous. It starts with the soil. Now, the soil erosion is not talked about enough as it should be. We leave plastics and unfamiliar alloys that are man-made most times on the ground to be decomposed, and they contaminate the soil. This can affect our groundwater, make our soil toxic to flora and fauna in the area. It can even loosen up the soil and create awful side effects. Now let's go back to the hypothetical family that we had earlier. They left their trash and a storm happened. Now the storm washes all those contaminants into a nearby river or stream. These contaminants might get trapped in the soil, causing what I mentioned earlier. Now the soil erosion does take effect. It can release massive amounts of carbon dioxide absorption, thus leading to what we all know as greenhouse gases. Now, over the past century, massive amounts of carbon dioxide, methane, and other greenhouse gases have caused the temperature of our planet to rise. That spike in global temperatures is fueling our climate disasters as we speak. That will only worsen if we don't take action. And I have this detail from how climate change is fueling extreme weather. Another detail I came across was by a writer named Alexander McAdie from The Atlantic. And he wrote, a meteorologist was convinced explosions from the front line from World War I were causing extra precipitation, excessive amounts of acid rain, and storms. Now, let's compare the weather of World War I to what we have now. That's not a comparison I want to make. Now, I know the environmental crisis is an ongoing battle, but it's the little things that we do that has the greatest impact. I know it might sound far-fetched, but here at Eco Lunchbox, we believe in a world that can coexist with Earth while still maintaining our originality. We don't want you to stop doing your favorite things or suddenly feel guilty. I don't want you to rethink everything you know, and we simply ask as a company, and for me personally as well, that you show a single thought. Just a small percentage of consideration when you do things. And ask these simple questions. How will this affect the earth I live on? Is there a better way to do this? And is it worth it? We simply want you to ask, can we do better? And everyone will make a mistake. Heck, I make mistakes. I know I did during this whole video. Sometimes I fumble over my words because no one is perfect. But as long as we try, we can make it better. And that is all we want you to do, to try.